Hello, hello. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Shoot the Ish. And today we still have our
Miss Erica Kane, baby.
Alrighty. So, alright, today we're going to talk about a serious topic based on last week. I got calls after that show, and I just found out I got a lot of freaky friends. I'm just going to let y'all know.
Power to the freaky people, okay?
All right. But today we're going to come about a serious topic, and that topic is going to be about what?
We're going to talk about mental health. And I think it's a great topic because obviously there are many different races. There are other countries watching us. Shout out to Germany. But as, you know, people of color, and I'm not just saying black people, people of color, it's like a taboo or a stigma behind, you know, going to see a therapist, talking about your feelings, expressing yourself, and mental illness in general. So I just feel like if we speak on it, it might bring light into some households that maybe need to talk about it, or someone that maybe needs to reach out to a loved one, you know?
I know, like, when thinking about doing this episode, I was talking to a lot of people about mental illness, and it was interesting to find out, like, there were friends that I had that actually said they went through it, or like she said, taboo. Mm-hmm. And sometimes one of the things that I did before doing this episode, I read about it mental illness is a huge topic. It's so many subcategories to it, and everything of that sort. And one of the things that I realized is that, you know, some of us don't even know that we're probably suffering from some type of mental illness. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up is just, like, as I always said, I try to be transparent. We try to be transparent. And I try to get some sort of, put a lot of my personal life in it. Mm-hmm. And what I was realizing is that sometimes a lot of us, people who are parents, people who are in relationships, we go through certain forms of mental illness. Or not to say because we're in relationships. Sometimes, again, like, a person can mentally drain you. A person can mentally like talk down to you, and you could have that person could bring you down to a certain point.
Your
fucking with your self-esteem. Someone breaking down your self-esteem can cause you to have some sort of mental illness as well.
Especially if your self-esteem was already fragile.
Yeah. I mean, you know? I think one of the things that, and I've seen lately, and I know most of you guys probably did, like on social media, when you see husbands or boyfriends go out and kill somebody. Now, to me, I'm just going to say, like, okay, go ahead, because I got something to say about it. Go ahead.
I think what I'm going to say is not so much like for me, not so much thinking that, because when I hear of like a guy killing, let's say, their girlfriend, most of the time it's because he had controlling issues or whatever. Obviously, there's some mental shit going on too. But when you saying that, I was thinking of like recently, the black, I believe Miss America or Miss Universe, she killed herself. Regina King's son killed himself on his birthday. He turned 25, and this was very recent. You know,
did you ever read like what was the scenario? Did they give more
details? The Miss USA, I just saw like a glimpse of that. I was more into reading about Regina King's son because that was like, it felt like a personal tie to me. Because I had my own situation going on when I turned 25, like kind of a reflection of my life, and I wasn't happy at the time. But they didn't go into too much detail really, and I think that's because obviously her family doesn't want to put it out there, maybe how he did it or whatever, but all they really said was that, you know, he loved his mother, but he did this, and I can only imagine what she's going through as a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing, because you never think that someone's gonna kill themselves, whether they're, you know, a child, a husband, a spouse, a friend, or what, or even someone down the fucking street from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you hear that, it's like, wow. Like, it kind of makes you really think, not only is life so short, but some people can't even fathom living another day. Some people can't even...
to me, the only reason I'll say that, because I thought about certain situations, like I said, mental illness it's so deep when you really think about it, because
obviously controlling is a form of a mental illness. I just don't know where. One
of the things that I realized is just like within myself, like like you said, around the 25, because I remember when I was 25, sometimes you can look at everybody else, right? You could be in your own world looking at sometimes it builds in you, like where you feel like you should be. Yes. You never thought you would be here. And sometimes you're looking at TV and you're saying that I wanted my life to be comparing yourself.
That's a biggie.
And I think sometimes we look at ourselves and we feel like some people feel like life is already over probably when I hit 25 and I'm not where I should be. I can't see me trying to get my life right when I'm 40, or I can't see or you feel like it's already too late. And so that pressure, that's why it was a book called 20s midlife crisis, and they were saying it like it was like people at a certain generation, that people were starting to feel like their life was over if they weren't where they were supposed to be at a certain age, or especially in their 20s. It's like, but you're comparing yourself to a lot of people, and I think you could keep going down and down that rabbit hole.
Like, I feel like, one thing I know for sure, like schizophrenia, that mainly actually sprouts out in people during their college years. Now, that's interesting to me because college is a whole different ballgame from high school, middle school, elementary. It might happen because I think of our bodies as we're energy beings, okay? Our bodies run like a computer. It runs like any machine that you own in your home. It was based on how the body works. So if your body or if your brain is being overloaded entering college, maybe, now you're living on campus and you never lived away from home. Now you have all these extra books. Now you have a roommate. You're not used to living with someone who isn't related to you. Like, there's so many different things and stressors that some people hit a brink and they end up becoming schizophrenic. And to me, it just shows that there are different triggers in your life. But I wanted to say back to the 25, like, for me, I can be upfront and open and honest with y'all. I tried to kill myself when I was 25. And I did it literally the exact week after I turned 25. And it's because growing up, I imagined my adulthood being one way. Mm-hmm. And it's because of what I was seeing on TV. I thought I could be this person and that. And I had all these great ideas. I definitely had the potential and talent to do it. But I wasn't doing the work. I was, hanging out, bullshitting. Like, I had the talent, but I wasn't applying it. So once I got to that age, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I wasted all this time. And then I just kind of felt like it was downhill from there. And I really tried to talk myself out of it. But for 3 months, it got to a point where, and I don't even know if some people will understand, but it got to a point where you can put this in front of me, right? And you can ask me, what is this? Like, what is the name of this? Obviously, anyone else would say this is a mug or it's a cup. I would look at it and be like, I don't know. Like, that's how depressed. And it wasn't just from me reflecting on my life. There were other factors. But I think the reason why I actually tried to kill myself at that age was because it was the buildup. But I was always, and I still am, the person, when people found out I tried that, were devastated because I'm always smiling. Like, I'm always loud. I'm always happy. But really, those are the people you gotta, kind of check up on, because we have so much energy and sometimes we get drained, or sometimes we're giving our energy to the wrong sources or whatever. I just feel like that's why me as a friend, if I fuck with you, if I'm cool with you, I'm gonna ask you how you doing. Maybe not every day, but when I speak to you and I see you or whatever, or if I'm just thinking, hey, I remember so-and-so said they weren't feeling too hot last time I spoke to them. Let me just make sure they're good. Because the last thing I want to know is this person killed themselves. And I was like, damn, they were reaching out to me and I didn't do shit.
But you know what? And I'm not putting somebody's on blast, but there was something that just happened recently. Mm. And it was on Facebook. And I was reading everything the person was saying. And I said, that's that example where you see somebody they're writing something.
They're trying to
and they're
cry
speaking,
out for help.
And they're speaking. What would I be if I don't say anything? So I then wrote a whole thing to the person, say, look, and I
always try to... In a message or underneath their post?
No, in a message to them.
Nice.
And I let them know, like, my personal life. I'm like, look, you may be feeling that way. I was there. I lost a brother. I was to a certain point where I felt like, because one thing I can say about losing a sibling that you're close to, you start to realize like it's not one day that like you're not thinking about them, right? Of
course.
And so when they talk about, again, when we talk about this mental illness thing, that's like some people say depression. That's a form of mental illness. And how we grieve forms, like it's your mind, it's how you cope. This is all mental stuff. Some people become aggressive and
some people react instead of responding.
During when my brother passed away, I had a woman I was involved with. I pushed her away.
Yeah.
My mom, I pushed her away because the way I tried to cope with my brother's death was to act and put in my head that he never existed, so I wouldn't have to feel
the
that
pain of him being
it.
gone.
So even during his funeral, people was like, "Yo, you good? Like you're not even crying."
It didn't hit you yet.
And because I was trying not to let it. It literally took me a year to cry with my brother, and then it was like. But what happened though, I saw my relationship fall. I saw my relationship with people fall.
You were able to reflect on your life.
Yeah, and not only that, no. I lost my job. I literally lost my job. And that was around in my 20s, right? So when we talk about the 20s, all that shit was happening, and I'm looking at myself like...
And then think too, at that age, you can't always process what's going on, whether you're a man or a woman. But I wanted to say, when you said that you saw someone write something on Facebook, right? And you messaged them. That is what I love to hear. Because you don't have to write on the post, but message them. Because a few months ago, there was a girl in Texas who wrote that she wanted to kill herself. Mind you, she had 2 children. She said she wanted to kill herself. She was going through so much shit. You know what everyone else did? Scrolled past. The very next day, they found her body. So now her children, who obviously she only had custody of, so who knows if their father will take care of them. And now their children has to grow up without a mother. Not saying that other people could have helped them, but when someone's reaching out like that, and especially when they're writing on Facebook, they want you to read it. They want you to respond. They want someone to just be like, yo, you good?
Yeah. Nah, I just said, like it was just, to me, like, when my situation happened, I just realized when it goes back to the age of being 25, and that's what we were talking about, that age. There's so many things that can happen to you. So during that time when I lost the job and everything, I'm looking at myself like I didn't see I didn't see myself being 25 without a job. Like I had a good relationship and everything. I didn't see it, and I pushed that person away. And then it was like I realized that sometimes we could jump out our body and say this, and this is what, truthfully, what got me right was this. I'm going to just tell everybody. It's either this moment, either I go this way and fight to get right, or I can literally drop. And I'll tell you this, I was working at the post office, and it used to be this bum outside the post office, right? I used to see him every day. And I just thought about that when everything happened. I said he wasn't born to be that.
Yeah.
Something happened that he wasn't either strong enough to go this way. He went this way, and it just sank.
And the sad thing is, he could have been a veteran. That's usually who homeless people are.
And to me, it's that inner strength that you did. And it's like, and truly, what I would always tell anybody, even if you're 25 and you feel like the world is in it, my life started changing again in my 30s.
You got to realize, like, that's why I love certain posts when they say, you know, Jay-Z didn't drop his first album or didn't make his first blah, blah, blah until he was 30-something. You know, fucking Quincy Jones didn't get his big break until he did Thriller. He was like 45 when he did Thriller. So it's like, it just shows, as long as you keep persevering, if when you're young and you're expecting to make it or to do what you need to do and it don't happen, maybe that wasn't the right time. Because I know for me, if I was where I thought I should have been at 25, I was so reckless, I'd have fucked up all that money and I'd have been like Lindsay Lohan, just cracked out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like things happen to people for a reason. Sometimes you just not ready for that at that moment. But if you prove to the universe, I'm working towards it, eventually those opportunities are gonna fucking come. Yeah.
I just always look at it like even you
gotta have faith in yourself.
Life is a journey. Is a journey, true indeed.
It's not about getting to a destination. It's about just working to.
I think you have to be, and it's easy to tell anybody else to be strong, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because we all say, oh, you
easier said than done.
And to me, I feel like, you know, staying on topic, there's so many situations where you're going to, like I told the person, no matter, even if you get over this, you have to learn you have to take the lesson that you learned, that you got over it, and realize, guess what? Life is about a bumpy road. It's gonna, like, shit gonna always happen, because right when I got over that, I get into some other shit.
It's not supposed to be perfect.
And it's gonna get into some more shit. And you just have to be strong. And if you didn't learn lessons, you gotta take, with anything that happens to you, whether or not it's negative or good, you learn something. Yeah. And that's the important part. Because I would say, like, you know, even, and going back to the mental health, we go through shit just digging in, and I always said this to people. You can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we go through things without, like look, you can have a spouse or somebody, your ex or son, your ex-wife or this, may not be able to see your kids. And that can put a mental strain on you, like, yo, this chick, and you mentally fucked up over this shit. And that's what I was saying in reference to that social media thing where the dude wound up saying, like, she ain't letting me see my kids.
So from that standpoint, that's when, and this is one thing my dad taught me that is, like, so pivotal to my life. You cannot get upset over something you can't control. So granted, it may not be right that the woman is keeping the child away from the man, but you have to learn how to be able to still live in your truth and survive through that, because it's not going to be forever. Because guess what? At some point, the child's going to be old enough where they can hit you up themselves and chill with you. It's all about patience, because right now it seems like that woman's winning. But guess what? When the child grows up old enough to know the truth, they're going to be so upset with that woman, because they're going to be like, you kept my father from me because you were mad at him. Knowing this whole time I wanted a relationship with, like, that's going to open a whole can of worms that you won't have to deal with. She may even call you and say, so-and-so's upset because and at that point, that's when the ball is in his field. Now he can say, well, you got to understand where he's coming from. Just give him time. And that's it. And she going to look at you like, damn, he's fucking being more mature than I thought he would have been. Like, sometimes you got to kind of give people a curveball and make them know, I'm going to still be happy regardless of what you do. It may still tick me off, but I know at the end of the day, darkness always comes to light. So you can do all your bullshit now, but eventually it's not going to happen forever, basically. You got to know it's not always going to be the...
But, you know, but the thing is, what I would always say, like, when I hear every scenario and these people that go out, like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to probably talk about, like, school shootings and all that, because that's not going to be something that I think the typical person that I'm trying to reach or whatever. But when we talk, I'll say this in reference to
that's a different spiel, because
but the only reason I say that, no, you know what, I will talk about it, because that goes back to bullying and almost like you said, somebody can mess with your what is it? Your confidence, or what was it you said? You said something about
your self-esteem.
Self-esteem. And when but
that's deeper. A school shooting, and the reason why I say it, when I tell you I got bullied for years. Okay, I got bullied for years. I had the girls' basketball team follow me home, try to jump me. I never thought I want to go to school and kill them. So, and mind you, I was diagnosed with bipolar, which is what the media would try to portray me as, someone who would do that. But I wouldn't do that. You know why? Because first off, even if someone's hurting me, even as a child, and I know, like, people hated me for being this way, but even if someone hurt me, I always felt like, but how can I make them be kind to people? Because
But see, here's the thing. You're talking about more or less how you dealt with it. But let's just talk about what we see.
I'm explaining it because I do have a mental illness. And I think when you're talking about school shootings and you want to bring that into this category, I don't see it, because first off, school shootings, the ones that I've heard about, were mainly by Caucasian children. And I feel like their upbringing and maybe the way that they're seeing the world is different from what I see. So I don't know how much I can add to that subject in that sense
But my question would be in reference to it. Now look, I look at it as somebody being picked on.
But that's how you're looking at it.
But see, that goes back to that self-esteem. That goes back to the same kids who get picked on at school and they commit suicide.
But you have to divulge more into it because that's not why all of them did that. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying all of them did that.
No, but you said it goes to bullying. Didn't you just say that?
Because you got people who get bullied and then they...
No, but didn't you just say it goes to bullying?
Yeah, I said it goes to
bullying. I'm saying not all people who did school shootings were bullies. So we have to divulge more into each individual case rather than just bring it up as a generalization tying it into this.
No, I didn't say all of them. I used an example of stating that, look, in those certain situations when it was put... Look, don't fault me. It was on the news. They said... These kids, I'm talking about the ones that said they were bullied. I'm not talking about other situations where whatever they couldn't stand the
teacher.
So
that's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm talking about the ones in particular. I'm only talking about the ones that they stated that they were being bullied. Because at the same time, we look at the same thing.
But you're tying this, how are you tying this into this?
I'm tying this all into mental. We're talking about mental illnesses. Just like the kids who commit suicide because they get picked on and bullied. You wouldn't consider that mental illness?
I mean, I just feel like I wouldn't just take that from that. So that's why I'm just asking.
So what would you say about a kid who is basically getting picked on every day, who's going home, he feels like nobody's there to mentally help?
I mean, I was there. So that's literally why I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Because I was in that spot.
Okay, but you're... A lot of us look.
But you just said, "What would you?"
Wait.
So I'm telling you, I was there.
What I'm trying to say is, we're all in different spots. Just like there's certain people that have been in my spot,
no, you're
and
right.
they killed each other, and they killed themselves, right?
You asked me, so I was just trying to give you I'm asking
you in your opinion.
That's all I was saying.
So in your opinion, in reference to those kids, are you saying that if a person has been bullied, not just you, because again, if we have a forum to talk, right? I can't just look at it. That's like me saying, wait, I was strong enough that my brother...
So back to what I was saying before. We have to divulge into each individual case. I can't answer that. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I can't answer because I haven't really researched the certain cases you're talking about.
Okay, so that's the point. So the point was, again, I can take things more or less be the devil's advocate because, again, like I said, I can't say... Well, people who have people that die in their family, I don't see how they commit suicide, right? Because I didn't.
Well, you mean people who committed suicide?
Committed suicide. I can say that, but I know I was just strong enough for that not to happen. I can't assume that everybody's strong enough because that every situation that I've seen, even a person that I just talked to, I know people who have done the opposite because of that same exact situation.
And the funny thing is too, the thing is, it's not about being strong enough too. That's one thing that I want to let other people just be mindful about because that word will indicate that they're weak and they're not. It's more of other than them not saying them not being strong. I'd rather say their mental emotions, their self-esteem, their confidence isn't up there. Because if your confidence is up there and you ain't shit, and someone tries to knock you down, you gonna be able to hold your ground because your confidence is there, regardless of whether you're good or not. So
yeah. Because look, the only thing I can say is this, and so we're gonna use the word confidence because I was going to school, and damn sure when I say I didn't have I was poor, literally we lived in a car. I know I can tell you every color of each food stamp. The dollar food stamp was brown. No, they would give you a little dollar bill, but it looked like Monopoly money. So the brown was the $1 bill. I think the blue one was a $5. The green one was $10. Oh, I was on them welfares, and guess what? We go to the store, you pull them out, you walk to the store, it's like, yo, can I get some chips? My mother give us the dollar thing, and kids will pick on you. Kids, I knew about Payless left and right. Mm-hmm. But you know what? That, in a way, these are things that I had to, people will talk about you, but it was me. It wasn't my mother. It was me to be able to say.
It's you as a person as well.
And that's what I'm saying. So we may say, I was strong enough.
Chemical imbalance. Yeah. That chemical imbalance, that shit is real.
So to me, I felt like at that same time, And that's why even with my kids, I'm like, look, people gonna always talk about you, no matter whether or not you little, or no matter if you grown, you could be doing good.
Whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad, people gonna talk about you regardless.
Yeah, so to me, I just look at like a lot of the stuff that we can talk about on mental illness. Now, look, I mean, I have 13 years in counseling. Those who know me know. But it's like the things that you talk to people about and the things that you actually deal with. Some of the everybody need it. But and I realized even with me, I went through situations and I needed it. But I start to say, like, in this day and age, I still think, my opinion, I think it's social media with a lot of stuff. Because like you said, at a certain point in your life, you felt at 25 you should have been certain with. But now you got it in your face with social media. People lying, like they stunting for the gram. And they not really living like that. And at the same time, we got kids looking at like, I should be living like that. But they looking at...
And you know me, I'm going to take it even further back than that. It comes from some parts of your upbringing. Parts of you knowing your own self-worth. If you know your own self-worth, you seeing someone flashing $100 bills sitting on a Lamborghini ain't going to faze you. Because you know, I'm happy with what I'm doing. So social media it could be looked at as a negative and a positive thing. It could be definitely negative if there's a whole bunch of insecure people on there, and that's what's making it negative. There's insecure people going on there looking for validation. They're looking for that blue check to make people look at them like they're somebody. But if you already have confidence, that blue check don't mean shit. You're on there to connect. You're on there for different reasons than those who are insecure and looking to...
And that goes back
clout
to
chase and all that
see what
shit.
you just said. You said you understood if your confidence is up and you're looking at that stuff, it's not going to faze you. But again, like I said, what I'm trying to probably get is the people who basically, like you said, don't use the word strong. We're going to use the word confidence. So the people who are affected by it, you're saying that they have less confidence within themselves.
Yes.
So, but that's the point. And what I'm trying to more or less get out of it is understanding, like, what makes that and why do we feel less confident? And that's what I said. So sometimes when you're looking at these and kids, and I look at it sometimes like it's the parents. With like I know my son. He loves to get validated. He was like, did I do right? Did I do good?
But he's at an age where if you don't feel those validations, when he gets older, he's gonna be looking. And you hit the nail on the head. So that's why I said it's before social media. It's when they're little. It's when they're younger. When you don't, like I said before, when I listened to Dr. Umar Johnson, he said, if you don't get these glasses full, and he was referring to the mom and the daddy glass, but I'm thinking of the confidence glass, the self-esteem glass, the self-worth glass. And I'm really speaking to the girls and the women, because a lot of us, and I know growing up as a woman, even though I was a tomboy, so I wasn't really pitted against other women as competition. I was more pitted against boys playing sports. But I see it so much that women want to keep competing against each other. But it comes from the lack of confidence. It comes from the fact that, why do you feel like you have to compete against her for a dude? If you have higher confidence, you're going to realize your worth isn't to be fighting for a dude. That shouldn't be the end goal. And same thing for guys. Guys who fight over women. That's dumb as hell to me.
I thought you were about to say about the about, like, you know, the mental or the confidence that men and women have. And surprisingly enough, men are good at hiding it. But I think men, to be honest with you, I think men are the most insecure people in the world, to me.
And that's debatable on both sides. And honestly, that's why I say it's everyone. Because, like, I wouldn't know because I'm not a man. I know what I see from hanging out with my cousins, my guy friends, or whatever. And same thing with guys with women. I know certain guys who say to me, yo, how come women always winning? Like, how come women are always winning? And I'm like, first off, that's your perspective that a woman is winning. Second off, you don't know what she did to get where she's so-called winning. So it's like, that's why we cannot compare ourselves. Like you said, like we went to earlier. Comparing yourself just makes things a whole lot worse. I feel like if you're going on social media, look at it as, maybe I can see what Greece looks like since I've never been there. Because this girl went to Greece. Like, that's how I look at certain shit. Like, I'll look up certain countries I've never been to or whatever, just to try to expand my mind. Like, try to have a different focus, I guess.
I think, and it goes back to hating and motivation. Exactly. So somebody can look at something and be like, I'm hating on it, but you should be able to look at it as like, I'm motivated
that shit's
by that.
motivating me, word.
Yeah, so I definitely understand. I just realized that even when we were talking about it, he was like, you can't see it coming. I mean, you're not a man, so you don't understand a man, and the comparison thing.
Correct.
But one of the things that I do recognize, though, is that because I definitely want to stay on this topic, because it's like, to me, I don't think, like, people talk about it, like, you'll see that it's definitely a topic that they say most African Americans don't talk about, or people with ethnic backgrounds don't talk about.
Which is understandable. It's how we were raised, Like, can you really think? I was literally thinking the other day, I can't think of, like, because I went to a therapist. My mom went to one, but I can't think of, like, anyone else who's really been to a therapist before. Like, no one in my grandma's side. Like, it's just, it was so unheard of back then. Or maybe they couldn't afford it. Or maybe because they were a minority, it wasn't included in their health insurance. Who fucking knows?
What's going on? Like, yo, bitch ass nigga, man the fuck up.
That's the main thing. Like, people would always, or like up. With guys, like, I hate when guys always say to their sons or, little boy, stop fucking crying. And it's like, yo, let that boy cry. Like, and that's why I think my male cousins, like, will come to me if they're going through shit, because they, like, either they need to cry a little bit, because once you release that, like, sometimes you need to cry. Like, literally, there are times when I'm so fucking upset where I'm like, you need a release. And the release may not be talking. It may be just literally just letting out that emotion.
No, it helped me.
That loss of something. It could be a loss of a job, a loss of a relationship, a loss of loved one.
You ever heard the concept vent? Like, some people, you just speak to when they just venting.
That's actually the name of my blog. It's called Vent, Letting It All Air Out. We're going to have it down there, but you said the word, so that's why I brought it up. But yes, venting.
Okay. But the thing about it is just like we have a tendency to not realize that we're trying to, like, we don't have an outlet to let the stuff out.
And to feel comfortable enough to do
and
so.
The thing is like, I would say that, one of the things that helped me was actually letting it out or talking to somebody. I could be going through something, whether or not it's coming from work and all the chaos in the day. All that shit builds up if you don't let it out.
Yeah.
And you're going to either let it out in a negative way, you can let it out physically, like, or anything.
Through an activity, but, like, I was actually thinking, like, it doesn't even have to be something huge. Like, some people think, like, you need something huge to speak about. There's times when, like, I'll call my mom or my sisters and be like, yo, let me ask your opinion on this. Because I know, like, me, sometimes I could be, like, I can react or respond over the top, or I could take things out of context. So I will ask my close family members, like, yo, how does it sound? Like, would you be feeling like, because I felt this way. And for me, that's therapeutic, like, that's, because for me, it's like, it's letting me know whether or not I was okay in responding the way I did, or whether it was way over the top, because my mom is way more calm, but my sister is, like, in the middle between me and my mom, so I'll get more than one opinion. So even if you don't actually go to a therapist, just speak to someone that you trust, preferably a loved one, a sibling, or a parent. Speak to someone you trust, and just, you can even just say, yo, I got fucking annoyed today because this bitch cut me off and it made me mad, and just, sometimes you just need to get shit off your chest, and then later you can be like, you know what?
I always found it to be easier talking to people I just met. Not that
because they don't have no ties.
They don't know me. They don't do this. It's not biased.
And that's another good thing.
It's
What's that? There's a site, Omegle. It's a site. You can type it in, omegle.com, and you chat with random people all over the fucking world.
Yeah.
If you wanted to use that as your therapy, you can do that. Because I never even really thought of talking to someone that I don't really even know.
Nah,
but
it's just like if
it makes sense.
It's like, it depends on what type of person you are, and whether or not you're a social person. You go out, you meet people, and you exchange information. Y'all just talk. Like, you can meet somebody at a bar and just talk to somebody. Like, I mean, and it's just whatever. And it's not that they're gonna give you the answers. It's just like you're just letting it out. Exactly.
Like we said, let it all air out.
I mean, but with anything, like I said, this topic has so many layers to it, and the thing is like, I would always say just to anybody or anybody who's watching it, when you see your friends on social media talking about something, reach out. Don't feel like you're being invasive or you're being nosy into their business. No, talk
You're
to
already
people.
watching the story, so you can't be any more invasive than that.
I mean, the bottom line, and be true to yourself. Like, sometimes the answer is the answer that you know already. And it's sometimes, one thing that I've always realized is that, like, and the only thing I can talk about is myself. I would talk to a lot of women at one time, and, you know, I had a lot of female associates. And with the female associates, that we'll talk, and I realized it's not that they were really looking for an answer. They wanted somebody to validate what they already knew. So me telling them something, it wasn't that they didn't know the answer. They just wanted to hear that same answer to themselves.
And that'd be weird to me. Like, don't ask me something just because you want me to say what you thinking, because it just. And that's cool, I guess.
But
people do
venting.
it.
That's venting in almost.
But validation, that's why I thought you were going to say, because you're listening. But you validating them, that is venting in a sense. But I guess I just feel like, and like you said, that's from your experience. I guess just hearing it, I just feel like validation to me is like, you shouldn't need validation. If you're going to vent, just vent. But you're right, some people do that.
But it's almost like you could be going through something, right?
Oh, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying,
because
like,
I'm
not knocking. All I'm saying is that I never realized that some people, when they vent, they're venting for validation.
Yeah,
like, I thought, when I vent just for someone to just listen, you know?
Because I could be talking about some shit.
But you are right. Because you kind of want someone to be like, yo.
Yeah, like I wasn't off. Like, it's kind of like...
So that's what I was saying before, when I, like, asked my mom or my sister, yo, is this, like, was I crazy when I did this or not?
Because, like I said, you could be, whether or not you apply for jobs, whether or not you had an interview, whether or not, like, anything. Like, yo, I fucking cursed her out.
Yeah.
Like, and then you wait to hear. Because inside, like I always said, you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. So no matter what you do, you're going to feel whatever you did.
And it's going to show it externally to other people if you just keep hiding it.
And so when I talk to somebody about something, and I tell them about the scenario, and that person be like, yo, Cliff, you kind of was OD. And I'm like, oh, shit. I've kind of felt that inside. So I guess me hearing that. But then if I heard somebody be like, nah, my nigga, you was right in that situation because and
that's what I was gonna say too. Like, I'll also ask, well, why do you feel like I was right? Because just because you say I'm right, that's not just good enough for me personally. I need to know why, just so I know that our thought process was the same, so that I'm like, okay, cool.
But I mean, I just realized, like, you know, I know obviously we're not psychiatrists, so we're not gonna.
And even psychiatrists don't fucking know.
No. I'm just saying, just in reference.
Oh,
in
if
reference
someone's
to this.
looking, yeah.
We ain't doctors. We ain't doctors.
We hood doctors. We hood healers. Okay.
So when it's all said and done, I try to bring up the topics, or we try to definitely bring up topics that, you know, maybe it's not something that's talked about. Or start the conversation,
yeah.
you know.
We just plant the seed, you know. That's what you can do.
To me, I feel like right now, like, we've been, like, let's be honest, COVID is happening. We're in the house with our spouses. We're, like, it's so much stuff that's going around. If you follow the news, divorces, you're being in the house with the family 24/7, you have no outlet. It's so much stuff that could just get to you, because I'm not going to sit here and say, like, when COVID was happening, when it first happened, I was like, I love being in the house. Hell no, I wanted to escape.
Yeah.
So, because it was just, like, too much.
Think about, like, for me, when I thought of it, I thought about, like, for instance, the kids who are getting abused by their parents, where them going to school was an outlet.
Yep.
Like, them feeling safe. Like, I'm thinking of those people, or women or men who would go to work to get away from the hectic household life. So I'm thinking of people who are now not only trapped, but they're trapped in a toxic situation, you know? So we're just thinking on our own selves, and we're not even in a toxic situation. So God forbid you in one. Like, big ups to you. I'm going to send positive energy your way, and hopefully you get out of your situation. But thank God they are releasing a lot of the restrictions. So even though COVID's still around, and Omicron and all that other bullshit, Delta, American Airlines, and all that.
Optimus Prime.
American Airlines, all that.
But no, it's not the smile on it. I mean, that was funny though. But no, I just was like, you know, to me, I just said, like I said, always look at the signs. And like I said, we were talking about the social media. When you see your friends going through something, reach out to them. Speak to them. Don't put them on blast.
And you don't have to be like a therapist, like you said. You can just hit up like, yo, what's poppin'? What you doing this weekend? Like, just something that has nothing to do with even what they wrote, you know? Because some people don't even want to talk about, even though they've wrote it. Some people don't want to talk about it, which is even weirder to me. But, you know, social media has allowed people to be in their weirdest form. And it's
I'll be honest with you. I think with me, social media has kept me up. Like borderline hermit, because I may not be around people, but I feel like I know. I feel like I was around you yesterday because I see so much.
I done traveled to 5 different countries last night, just scrolling through. Like,
it's just, to me, I feel like you guys like when it comes to this topic. Like I said, it's so many categories, there's so many levels to it, layers, whatever. And to me, just be strong about it and just focus. Look, if you're dealing with something, reach out to somebody, because like I said, whether or not we talk, just even this is a form of venting, even for me. So, you know, with that being said, I thank you for tuning into another episode of Shoot the Ish. And hopefully you guys keep subscribing, keep tuning in, and always, like I said, leave a comment. Please tell us what you think.
Like, subscribe, and share. And like I said, I am gonna, we're gonna be putting my blog in the description box. I literally just started it, and it's not like a whole 10-page blog. I just be writing random stuff, and the blog is called Vent, letting it all air out. So that's why I just thought it was funny that he had said Vent before. So, but yes.
All right. So good night, and definitely have
next
a great
week
one.
is gonna be a banger.
Oh, it better be. All right. Peace out.